Hello and welcome to Views on News. I am Jawad Tehami. World Economic Forum's Global Risk Report 2025 has described Pakistan's performance in addressing the economic challenges as excellent. The report says, let me quote, Pakistan has the full potential to deal with economic, environmental, political and technological challenges facing the world. Despite many economic challenges, Pakistan has achieved remarkable achievements in the last few years. Pakistan is moving forward in spite of the uncertain situation faced at the global level. Pakistan has the full potential to become a major player in the global arena. The report has also at the same time emphasized the need for policy change and increased international cooperation to make Pakistan's strategy more stable. We also know for a fact that the economic indicators show, owing to the government policies, these indicators have shown a considerable improved performance. Remittances increased, exports increased, foreign direct investment has increased in the country. Also, the Federal Board of Revenues, the revenue collection has also increased. In terms of the reduction in inflation and policy rate, there has been considerable improvement on that front also. We have also seen the bullish trend, continuous bullish trend, the record-breaking trend at the Pakistan stock exchanges. Also, a number of significant initiatives brought in by the incumbent government here in Pakistan, specifically talking about the establishment of the Special Investment Facilitation Council, Green Pakistan Initiative, the most recently launched Udaan Pakistan that emphasizes on 5 key areas known as 5 E's. Also, the government's call for all the stakeholders to come and deliberate and chalk out a charter of economy. All these important aspects in the light of this particular report by the World Economic Forum, Pakistan's resilience and potential on economic front are up for discussion in today's show. For that, we are honored to have been joined in the studio by none other than Mr. Qaiser Sheikh, Federal Minister for Maritime Affairs of Pakistan. Excellency, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Also in the studio, we are honored to have been joined by Mr. Humayun Iqbal Shami, President, Pakistan Economic Forum. Mr. Shami, thank you very much for your time also, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Later in the show, we'll be joined by another participant. As they join in, I'll be introducing them. Mr. Sheikh, thank you very much once again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be the part of this show on this important development. The World Economic Forum has released its assessment regarding the potential and the resilience of Pakistan, the kind of endeavors which have been undertaken by the authorities here in Pakistan, not only to stabilize the country's economy, but also put it on the track which will lead into more economic growth and towards development. What key sectors have been focused by the incumbent authorities in order to stabilize the economy?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Since inception of this government last 10 months, we, the government of Mian Shehbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Pakistan, and his cabinet and all other colleagues have worked vigorously, and we could achieve the targets which you mentioned early in this program. So these are remarkable achievements, and when we visualize that all these factors are positive for the economic development, and World Economic Forum highlighted and mentioned about it. It's I feel that we are consistently working on economic side, mainly the cost of doing business apart from inflation, which was hurting people on grassroots level. So that was the most great achievement, that from inflation reduced from 38% to just 3 or 4%. So that because common man were very much impacted with this high rate of inflation. And now with moreover, when there is various MOUs are being signed, delegation from the countries, from China, from UAE, from even Denmark, and then from Malaysia and Saudi. All these countries delegations came and they studied, and we informed them about the progress being done, and then we also highlighted them the potential of Pakistan and the plans we have for future, and various feasibilities have been threadbare discussed with them, and you see it has been in Udan Pakistan program, which was launched recently. It has been emphasized that we need export-led growth.
Yes.
So for that purpose, we are making all efforts, the planning, and we are trying our best to reduce the energy prices, because and then we are also emphasizing that loans should be freely advanced to the SME sectors, and then we are developing special economic zones, and we feel that there's in this whole worldwide, this region is developing the fastest. Apart from Pakistan recently, we could not have a growth of about 8 to 10%. We had meager growth, but that is the main now emphasis. We are just trying our best to increase the growth, and for that we needed all these aspects, that there should be policy rate should be reduced, and it has been drastically reduced from 22% to 13%, and loans now amount of loan is increasing, and private sector is very much interested, as you yourself mentioned that stock exchange is the world number 2 market in the world recently in last year. So all these aspects are giving confidence to direct foreign investment as well as to the local investors. And I feel that this opportunity will be availed, since long Pakistan, what I feel personally, that we should have more political environment that should correlate with the economic development. You see, our political parties all should give preference to the economic development and to the welfare of the common man. So, and that is the recent initiation of dialogue between government and the opposition. It signifies that this will also be achieved, this target will be achieved, and law and order situation is already improving. I can only mention to you about my ministry. I am a Federal Minister for Maritimes, and you see worldwide the world average of maritime of all countries of the world is 7% of their GDP. But in Pakistan we were not deriving more than 1% from maritime. But recently the Pakistan position has been consolidated as a gateway to Central Asia. Central Asia developed in last 1.5 decade very phenomenal growth, and they don't have their own ports, they are landlocked, and our ports are the shortest route. And what I feel that all major world shipping companies, they are having more and more meetings and interaction with us. Like I should mention already, there has been investment from Hong Kong Hutchison port. Is already in Karachi, Kimadi, they have SAPT, which is the deep natural port, and in which all these companies feel that there is a potential. Why? There have been two particular developments recently. One, that the vessels are now having large quantity of containers, like 20,000 containers in a vessel, and with those large quantities the freight cost is much less. And then again I mentioned to you earlier that there has been growth in Central Asia, and we are the shortest route. So all these companies like Hutchison, which has already invested, and they have now asked me that next week their delegation is coming, and they they practically already invested and want to invest more in the SAPT. Similarly, 2 months ago, the visit of Max Line, one of the largest world shipping company, they have interest in our ports, and AD Ports, I visited last month on the invitation of Crown Prince of UAE. They had inaugurated their terminal there, and they have emphasized they want to have more and more memorandum of understanding with us, and they also want to invest more. Similarly, DP World. So I must mention that all major shipping companies of the world are eager to invest in Pakistan. This is an opportunity for the sizable enhancement of GDP growth in Pakistan. Similar other many factors are there. I can discuss further.
Yeah, later on in the show, during the course of our conversation, today's show, a number of important things, Mr. Minister, you have highlighted in your take. Let me move towards Mr. Shami. Mr. Shami, this particular World Economic Forum report talks about the resilience of Pakistan's economy while it was navigating through different challenges. Also telling that Pakistan is potential to become a major player in the global arena, and Pakistan is moving forward despite so many economic challenges. How heartening do you think is this particular assessment by World Economic Forum of Pakistan's economic outlook?
Thank you very much. As you mentioned the resilience, I would say that this is the most comfortable area which has been highlighted in this report about Pakistan, because Pakistan really has shown resilience in the sense that for the last almost 45 years, we are in a war on the Western Front, since time from the Soviet invasion, and then you see that the NATO came there, and so that was a patch for about 20 years. It was not 20 or 30 years war, So then we have some internal insurgencies also due to the backslash of that. So, but despite this fact, we have shown resilience, and our economy is growing, and things are, going in the right way now. And these also happened in the sense that generally we had very little patches where we had political stability or political stability in this country. But despite this fact, I have read this report, It has mentioned 2-3 things which are the fault lines for Pakistan, like inflation, like debt reserving, like.
I'll go to those points. Those risks are also mentioned. I'll come to you.
No, but
asking you your analysis regarding how to mitigate those particular risks.
Yeah.
But before heading towards that particular point, what could be learned from Pakistan's experience? Pakistan being resilient despite so many challenges, Pakistan being one of the most vulnerable countries as far as the climate change and its adverse impacts are concerned.
True.
Given all these challenges, how, and then Minister Sheikh has already mentioned the dialogue with the opposition is already underway. We've seen some political uncertainty because of certain political parties in the recent past also. So there were a number of challenges on multiple fronts. How Pakistani authorities have navigated through those, avoiding that very imminent default to stabilizing the economy, not only stabilizing the economy, but also establishing SIFC, launching the initiative like Udan Pakistan, and aiming to have the export-led growth. What's your analysis regarding this entire saga that unfolded in the last recent past?
This is what I was going to mention, the same thing what you have asked about me, because I was pointing out that these fault lines which they have mentioned in this, like inflation and the debt reserving, Pakistan has almost overcome all these problems, Already our inflation rate has come down from 38% to 4% almost, and then we are seeing that constantly we are decreasing our monetary rate. And now it's almost, I think, 13% or something, and it might be in single digit in next 2-3 months, So these problems, and the inflation rate, and then debt reserving, but the area of concern is definitely the climate change is an area of concern, that we are one of the vulnerable country in the world, and overall in the broader sense, our the people are not very conscious about the environmental issues. So like we have seen recently in Lahore and the Punjab, particularly the smoke which is resulted in that is due to the climate change and the climate problem, you know. But overall, what required in these countries is this, that we need a constant policies for the next 10 years at least. The problem with our country has been that for the time one government come into power and that brings some sort of policy, the next government come, it, you know, just go, I mean, get away from those policies and imposes new policies, you know. That is an area of concern. And then with the time, I mean, so this is what the business people have been saying in Pakistan, which is the foreign investors have been saying in Pakistan, and probably this is why the SIFC has been established. And after establishment of SIFC, particularly the investors, you know, they got confidence, and now you can see that the lots of, as Minister Saab has said, that lots of foreign companies have contacted them. And in the same way, in the corporate, we are seeing in the corporate agriculture, lot of investment can come, and then in the mineral sector, in the IT sector. That is due to that we need to have a constant policy.
The continuity of the policy is of crucial importance.
Very important.
In order to not only stabilize the economy, but also steer it in the direction where we get the dividends in terms of economic growth and development. Mr. Shami, I'll come back to you. We're honored to be joined by another participant, Mr. Sheikh Atif, senior economist, joining us all the way from Canada. Mr. Atif, thank you very much for taking time out for Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. We're discussing Pakistan's economic achievements in the recent past, owing to the endeavors put in and the initiatives put in by the government, the incumbent government, from that very imminent default to steer the country's economy in the right direction towards more growth, towards more development. World Economic Forum assesses Pakistan's outlook as being more resilient going forward and has the potential to become a leading partner in the global arena. When we talk about that potential of becoming a leading partner in the global arena on the economic front, what's your assessment, and how important and crucial international collaboration in that particular regard is?
So thank you. I really think it's really important for Pakistan not to stay secluded from the foreign community. And recently, Pakistan took a major step forward in that direction. You know, all Pakistanis all across the world were very happy with the landing of the PIA flight in Paris and return after a long period of European Union not allowing PIA to land there. PIA landed there and came back, so just a small success, but it's very meaningful because regardless of the challenges of PIA, is our national flag carrier, and kudos to the folks in charge for making it happen after years of being in. Now, as you said, the economic outlook, it really is a very hot thing. You know, yes, we do have challenges from translating the positive macro indicators into the micro level and getting it to the people on the street. The macro indicators have been better than they have been in a very long time. And, you know, with exports reaching close to 5 billion.
Mr. Atif, unfortunately, there's a lot of distortion. Unfortunately, we can't hear you properly. We'll try to reconnect with you, and we'll give you go ahead to describe what you are saying right at the moment. We'll try to reconnect with you in a short while from now. Moving back towards you, Mr. Minister. Now, you already talked about the strategic importance. We most recently saw there was an event that was held here in Pakistan, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. What message does it send to the outer world, especially to the business community, the investors? What kind of environment does Pakistan carry with itself and provide to the international investors?
Yes, this Shanghai conference gave a very positive impact on the business community. I myself come from the business community. I had been a president of Karachi Chamber of Commerce Industry. So the businessmen feel that the meeting of particularly Central Asian countries along with Russia and China. So these were very helpful because this in our region we had the big potential. I mentioned to you all countries are now seeing that Pakistan is a gateway of this whole continent, that whole area. Recently we had a delegation from Malaysia with the Prime Minister along with him. So they mentioned to me that they want to transport their palm oil. They had huge shipments of palm oil to Central Asian countries. So they want through us, they mentioned particularly. Even in that conference, the Russian delegation which was visiting, the transport minister of Russia invited me after that they feel that now from the land route they have become more expensive. And this new phenomena of having larger vessels from Pakistan has a potential of gateway from Pakistan. So they want to transport their cargoes also. Our own import and export of course is there, but there is a more potential through Gwadar port, through Karachi ports, that of transshipment and particularly to Central Asia. So overall the indicators of Pakistan, I feel that already in the whole country, whole world, this region is developing, and now Pakistan was lagging behind. This is next years are for Pakistan, I feel the largest growth, the fastest growth can come from Pakistan. There is interest from the foreign investors, and because now you see energy cost was one impediment, another was that of finance cost. So in both sectors we made, our government made lot of development. I mentioned earlier about finance reduced lot, and then electricity, Prime Minister and his Minister of Energy emphasizing on the reduction in the prices for the industrial sector. And there is also potential for in Gwadar that of transferring their industry from China to Gwadar for that special economic zone. Particularly when I feel that new government in United States, they intend to impose tariff on the import of China, directly import of China. They may have good options that they could transport their products, having a transfer of their industry here to Pakistan, and from here they will not be facing.
So in that sort of a scenario, Pakistan could serve as a very appropriate alternative.
Of course, the value added, and we also are particularly emphasizing on Udan Pakistan, which day before yesterday there was a detailed meeting under SIFC, and Minister of Planning, Mr. Iqbal presided that, and that particular item, that how can we increase our export, that is the emphasis now, and SIFC making a lot of effort on that. Even today we had meeting in our ministry with SIFC when we were discussing that we should add new vessels to PNSC, Pakistan National Shipping Corporation. And you see from all sectors there has been demands. Pakistan is becoming, as I think World Economic Forum rightly mentioned, that the next potential of development of fast growth is Pakistan, and we having a huge population of skilled labor with new with education and technology, addition of technology, particular like some technical like
information technology,
technology, and that of TEFTA, like technical vocational training. Vocational training is giving a lot of emphasis on that. We are and our exports is increasing, as you mentioned. Our IT export is particularly being enhanced. So all these things indicate that with the consistent policies, as rightly mentioned by Mr. Humayun, that with these concerns, and we are planning that for next 10 years the policies should be consistent. Any government comes, but we should have a correlation. That charter of economy we are emphasizing.
There shouldn't be any sort of a disruption on the way.
Yes.
When there's been deliberation, those policies should be implemented not only in letter and spirit, but for also a considerable span of time, so that the positive results are taken out of it.
And I particularly emphasize, because having my experience of private sector, that we need to enhance our loans, which government is now doing, to SME sector. That is one major growth sector. A lot of growth should come from that, and also our economy should be documented, which is being emphasized, because we have lot of undocumented capital there, and that has been wasted, some repatriated or some going to the some sectors which are not as productive.
Right.
So recently our government is emphasizing on documentation. That is very important.
Right.
And also we are making ease of doing business. So all these factors, I think in next few years we feel lot of better growth rate.
Right.
No.
Right, Mr. Minister, this particular report of the World Economic Forum talks of 4 major risks Pakistan might be facing in the coming years. One of those that you've already touched upon is the political stability. In the recent past, because of certain political parties, you already mentioned, there was a little bit of a vacuum on that particular front. But right now, the government and the opposition into that particular dialogue, and that you're very much hopeful that there are going to be positive results. So there has also been call on the part of the government authorities for chalking out the Charter of Economy. So how crucial is deliberation, chalking out, and then implementation of the Charter of Economy in order to keep the continuity in the policies for a longer run?
That is, I think, most crucial. What we witnessed, you see, recently in last 3-4 decades, countries like Vietnam, like Thailand, they had a huge increase in that of their exports and SME sector. That was Charter of Economy in those countries. You see, our major drawback had been, you see, I tell you some specific incidents. Like we started from 1947. At that time, the part of Pakistan, the portion in which Pakistan came into existing, was not very much educated. That portion of India was more education there, and also more industry was there. But in first 43 years, up to 1990, Pakistan was growing ahead. Our per capita was 50% more than India. And I vividly remember myself that at that time, Dr. Mahbubullah was finance minister here, and I was very close to him. And Manmohan Singh was finance minister in India. They both had education from same institution. So a telephone call from Mr. Manmohan Singh, which I am the witness to Dr. Mahbubullah, he asked from his friend that you are growing very fast, and but let us know some ideas, how can we follow you? At that time, IMF used to call India Hindu rate of growth, and we were growing very fast. So we did it in first 40, because there was economic charter of economy was there, harmony was there. The political parties were not such attacking each other like this. They were in the interest of the economy, they were working. But after that, after those 1990, what happened? That we had more and more infighting, and I see in my institutions and National Assembly and Senate in the Parliament, that apart from doing some development strategies or working some ideas on Charter of Economy, we are not facing eye to eye. So that is very important, and I feel that recently this initiation of dialogue, I'm optimistic. I feel that will be fruitful, and that will give more boost to Pakistan economy.
Right.
Because of the impression going to the overseas Pakistanis, Pakistani diaspora abroad, they will also get good positive thinking. And we are now giving full ideas of having consistent of policies.
Right.
So any government comes, they should have some charter of
There should
economy.
be a
as you
consensus,
mentioned.
a broader consensus
Yes.
in the larger national interest. Mr. Shami, the export-led growth, the initiation of this Udan Pakistan program in the recent past, Prime Minister in his speech on that particular inaugural ceremony also specifying that Pakistan aims to have export-led growth. We've also known for a fact the holding of the SCO, also the interest, as Mr. Minister has also mentioned, the number of stakeholders on multiple fronts, they're expressing their interest to bring in their investment because of the business friendly environment and the kind of policy the incumbent government is trying to put in here. What is required further in order to drive that export-led growth?
Yes, true. Before replying to this question, I will add something for the Mr. Saab what he has said about our potential in the port sector. I worked with the Gwadar Port Authority in 2007. During my period, this was completed at that time as a bulk port, not as this container port. But I will say that Gwadar Port has a lot, and what he said that our share in the GDP for the port is just 1%, which is very less. It should be 3-4 times more. Gwadar Port has the big potential to be the transshipment port because it is the deepest seaport in this area. It is much deeper than Dubai even, So for transshipment, and we have some connectivity problems with the Gwadar Port, with the rest of the countries. So for the transshipment, you don't need any connectivity. You just like a Singapore model because initially it was signed with the PSA that time, Port of Singapore Authority, but unfortunately that could not be materialized as such. So if this is converted into a transshipment port, so it can only, you have to make some, arrangements for the warehouses or something, So it can give, our port sectors can grow for 2-3 times at least. So about your question about the export, there is no doubt that Pakistan has been lacking the export-led economy. Like all the countries which recently have developed, like China, Korea, Taiwan or something, Vietnam, they all have the export-led growth. The problem with our country is the export-led is this: we need to have a surplus to be exported. The problem with us is that we are lacking in the exportable surplus. Only in the textile sector or in the rice sector or something like maybe in the leather something we have the exportable surplus. Otherwise, our industry couldn't grow, our technology couldn't grow. So there are lots of factors for that. Maybe the electricity, the power energy cost is very high, the cost of doing business is very high in this country. So we have to address these things, Unless we don't have exportable surpluses, like recently the
Mr. Minister, Mr. Sheikh has already mentioned, and Prime Minister has also talked about expanding the industry, and for that reducing the tariffs of electricity and gas. They're pretty much on the cards also. So what alternative solutions could you recommend here?
No, these are the solutions. Solutions are the same. Solutions.
In terms of reducing the cost of energy. Both electricity as well as the gas. What could be the possible recommendations of that front?
At present, we don't have a ready-made solution because already the problem with our IPPs is that we are facing a huge, which is the fixed cost, In fixed cost we are paying them that has to be reduced. Now solar is it's a big alternate, but the problem is that, and it is a cheaper, it is environmental friendly, and it can with the net metering you can have it almost on half of the price. But the thing is, what to do with that fixed cost we are paying to that. So the only way is to increase. The only way is to consume more electricity, and for that you need to grow the industry. So give rebate to the industry, so that let the industry to grow, let the business to grow. Like recently I have seen the EV policy, the electric vehicle policy, very good policy. And there could be another good thing should be, I have seen that the local vendors, they are converting the motorcycles electric into the electric to making them electric bike. We have almost every year about 3 million motorcycles are coming into the market. So this is a big share that we can save we can consume a lot of energy. So if government gives some relaxation and maybe the Chinese may be pursued to put their plants here for that, conversion plants or something. So it can revolutionize, it can increase the consumption. So unless we don't increase the consumption of our electricity, the rate of electricity cannot be brought down. The only way then will be that the government gives subsidy, which is I don't think that is possible under the IMF
So for
program.
that we need to have more generation, right?
No,
the sources of
generation is-
generation. To have more consumption, you have to supply that demand also, right? So for that we need to have the generation enhanced to a considerable extent.
No, generation already we have about our installed capacity is almost already 42,000 megawatt, and in next about 5 years we will having another additional 10,000 megawatt in the net, So, but the thing is that for the last 2 years we are seeing that almost 10% demand in the net has decreased, instead to increase about 20-30%, it has gone down. That is the issue. So so what happened that the existing people who are on the net, they are paying more. They are paying for those who are disconnected from the grid system, and now they are on the solar and they are getting the cheaper energy, but the others are paying more because fixed cost, we are paying the fixed cost. So unless this solution is made for the fixed cost, and the electricity power should be purchased only at the takeaway basis, or we increase the consumption. If we increase the consumption and the fixed cost and is eliminated,
Right,
so then only then that can be
I get
brought
your
down.
point. Excellency, Mr. Sheikh, when we talk about reduction in electricity tariffs, the Prime Minister at the same time is also mentioned that we need to go to the IMF. The next review with the IMF is expected in the coming month in February. We also know for a fact it was one of the key readjustment of the tariffs on this particular front was one of the key conditions by the International Monetary Fund. What should the common people be expecting on this particular front, and especially when it comes to the growth and expansion of industry and the vis-a-vis reduction of electricity cost?
You see, for reduction of industry cost, we are giving a lot of emphasis on that. And already the negotiation with IPP is there, and some successful negotiation has been made, agreements have made, and that cost will be reduced. Further, the solar system is eventually should be the energy, but he mentioned rightly that already existing IPP is, so we are suffering huge cost, of fixed cost. So that by in installments and by negotiation we are finding some way out. But I feel that there are in agriculture also we are using solar system. In Balochistan there is a lot of solar energy is there, and moreover you see recently more emphasis is being given to the green energy. So we were not signee of Hong Kong Convention. Recently we signed a Hong Kong Convention, and I feel at one time Gadani port was the largest shipbreaking yard there. So recently Max Line, world largest company, they intend to dismantle their about many ships they have to dismantle here, then again to activate with this green energy. Now we have to find the solution for cheap and energy also, and in agriculture sector there is a potential, lot of potential that corporate farming with this green energy and solar system we can enhance our productivity. I don't know what happened to it. We could not have innovation in agriculture. All the countries like China and other countries are coming now to agriculture farming, and we had a lot of land available for that, and that will use the natural energy. But still the problem is there for cheaper energy. We are making a lot of effort, and gradually it will come down, the price will come down. And particularly we have given rebates to the industrial sector for the cheaper energy cost.
Right.
And as mentioned earlier, the finance cost which has been reduced drastically, that will give boost to the energy, and that is the emphasis that we should have value added products which the other countries use as export led growth. So these are some ideas we are working vigorously on that.
Mr. Minister, it was really an honor having you on the show tonight. One last question, and there are a number of other aspects I would love to ask you, but unfortunately due to shortage of time, I have to just limit the questions over here. The aims of Udaan Pakistan, the finance minister on that day talked of those attaining a sustainable GDP growth of 6% by 2028, the creation of 1 million jobs annually, and $10 billion private investment per year. So these three main aims up till 2028, how realistically achievable these are?
Apart from this, we are aiming to have a 1 trillion economy.
$1 trillion economy.
That in 10 years up to 2035, and then again to double our export. In next 4 years, we have planned to have export of $60 billion up to that. So you see, these are ambitious targets, but I mentioned to you that we achieved this growth earlier when after independence, we were growing much faster than our regional countries. So the potential is there, and we need to consolidate. My feeling is that our bottleneck was that of confrontation between the political parties, and that now the dialogue in the interest of the country, in the interest of the people, we should have more and more discussion. In the National Assembly, I feel I have been a member since 28 years. So I feel that we should divert our attention with devotion and with mutual consensus. I feel the potential is there. Other countries did it, and the ambitious target would be fulfilled. Now recently you yourself mentioned, I have been very close to the FBR since last 59 years of business. I have never seen such huge growth, although our target is 40% growth since of our revenues from last year, but still we achieved in 6 months 25%. It is not up to the mark, but still it is big growth. So the potential, we are aiming to have 6 to 7% growth rate that has been achieved many years in Pakistan.
So hopefully whatever the endeavors, the initiatives the government is bringing in, and hopefully the dialogue that is underway, and you've also very expressed optimism that this is going to bring in the positive results. So when there is going to be no confrontation, of course, there is going to be a broader consensus as far as multiple parties, all the stakeholders here in our country is concerned in the larger national interest. Mr. Qaiser Ahmed Sheikh, Federal Minister for Maritime Affairs of Pakistan, thank you once again very much for taking time out for Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. Mr. Humayun Iqbal Shami, President Pakistan Economic Forum. Mr. Shami, thank you very much for your time also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.